Hey, what's happening, YouTube? Thanks for stopping back into the channel tonight. And I'm going to be taking a page right out of Justin Dow's book, Have a Brew, here with you guys tonight. No fancy intros, no music, or nothing like that. Just kind of wanted to hang out, give a bit of solidarity to the automotive industry and you guys as technicians right now, because right now, if you have been living under a rock or whatever, you know that the COVID-19 virus is hitting America and pretty much around the entire world very hard. And the automotive industry is no different from any other industry now. We are getting hit very, very hard, and lots of people are starting to lose their jobs. So I wanted to go through a couple of things tonight with you guys to hopefully alleviate you guys from losing your jobs or, coming into hard times for you and your families. Also, just wanted to say that I'm there for you guys. If there's any time that anybody wants to talk about what's going on in your guys' industry, with your jobs, with what you guys have going on, I love hearing these things. I love hearing what you guys have to say about the automotive industry, because without the stories, both negative and positive, from every other guy around the industry, what is there to be able to learn from? I had a really great technician, thankfully, that was a mentor for me growing into the industry, and he had tons of stories, both negative and positive, for me to be able to learn from and grow from over the years through my training. So hopefully this gives everyone a chance to kind of get with each other and go back and forth, create some new connections if there would be, because I know we're all kind of just stuck inside here anymore. Hopefully you're not. Hopefully you are still working and all, but in the case that you are not, hopefully we're able to connect with each other and maybe learn a little bit something along the way also. First and foremost, if you are working, I hope that you guys are being very safe and very careful for what you guys are doing. I know this virus really isn't hitting all that hard to guys in my age group, the younger generation, but it is hitting hard for some of the older generations. Our parents, our grandparents, everything is going pretty south in the way of fighting this virus. They're having a really hard time at it, so we want to be able to protect not only ourselves, but our younger children as well as our older grandparents along the way too. So we want to be able to take some safety precautions to be able to get through this thing as easily as we possibly can. My personal dealership, we are staying open throughout this one. Obviously, even though Ohio has pretty much closed everything down for non-essential workers, the automotive industry is considered an essential workforce. We do keep a lot of the people, the industry, the trucks, everyone who pretty much has a car that still has to be able to get to work. We keep everything running, so we are an essential portion of this industry, so we have to take things a little serious. So what have we done in our portion of the dealership to help keep both ourselves and our customers safe? In the service drive, every time a customer comes in or a vehicle comes into the building, they have to go through the service drive. In the service drive, everything is taped off, so there is minimal contact with any of the customers. We have also shut down our service department to any waiters. So we have nobody waiting in the service department, nobody waiting in a waiting room where they might be coughing or sitting all over and breathing on everybody else. That we've just taken that out of the equation. We've told any of the customers who do still keep their appointments to please just drop the vehicle off to us. At that point, our service manager or service writer is going to get into the vehicle, and they are going to pretty much sanitize any of the surfaces that we're going to be touching. They get in and they will sanitize the outer and inner door handle, the side where you put your arm on the door, the entire steering wheel, obviously, the shifter. They take the keys out, wipe the keys down, and any of the knobs or radio settings there. They wipe all those down if that is something that we have to work on in the vehicle as well. So they are taking great precautions in trying to clean the vehicle. After that, then they will put a cover around the steering wheel, keep that nice and clean, as well as a plastic cover over the driver's seat. That keeps their employees the safest, as well as we don't want to be passing anything on if for some reason one of our employees was to be getting sick and we don't want to be able to pass that one on to the customer as well. So protecting both ways, it is very nice to be able to see that one. So safety has been met. However, you can't protect against pretty much every situation. Us as technicians, we're getting into pretty much every nook and cranny of somebody's car. If we have to do heater cores, it's still the end of the winter season, so we got to get in there. There might still be a lot of other things. So you need to keep yourself protected in that manner. Wearing gloves, changing them out often, washing your hands, keeping your tools clean as well. I always make sure that probably either halfway through the day or at least once a day at the end of the day, I like to clean up the tools that I use, wipe those down, put them away, just in case, because I am setting them on different surfaces throughout the vehicle or on the vehicle as well. So just another thing for you guys to keep track of. But enough about that and what we're doing. Let's share a couple of things that I think that will help you guys to keep moving on in the day-to-day life here in the industry. If for some reason you are, I guess, more the low man on the totem pole and the dealership or whatever shop does decide to start laying people off, you know you're going to be one of the first ones to go. So one of the biggest things that I can recommend, and I know it might be a little bit too late for this specific situation, but for future situations down the road, you always want to have some kind of a fallback. My mentor, that was the first thing he drilled into my head, was if you're going to be in the industry and you're going to be working flat rate, you need to have some kind of a nest egg. You need to have at least a month's worth of income put back to be able to have that fallback just in case the worst things happen. You know, you're going to get hurt in the industry, you break an ankle, you hurt your back, you get laid off, you end up, your dealership or your independent shop closes down. You have to have that in the back of your head to be able to help yourself to support your family. And second off, you have to be able to look down the road to be able to get through some of just the slow times. The winter season here in Ohio has got to be the slowest ones, so you got to be able to make it through those parts of the season without really getting too far down on yourself and getting too low on funds anyways. So that would be the first one, is make sure that you guys need to have a nest egg to be able to fall back on in situations like this. The next thing to think about for, again, would be a future situation, would be to get some more training and some more certification. If you are that low man on the totem pole, you don't want to be in a situation like this, because the low man on the totem pole is always the one that gets chopped off first. So the more certifications you have, the better you look to the business from the outside. You know, if we've got 4 technicians, we're going to be keeping the ones that are certified the most, because they can work on the most vehicles that come through the doors, so we can service the most amount of customers possible. So if you're a technician that only has 1 or 2 certifications compared to a technician who has 7 to 10 certifications, that is going to be a big difference, and that doesn't always go along with the amount of time that you have in the industry. Yes, the industry, especially through the 90s, was a big thing on seniority in the shop, and yes, experience does play a huge role in the industry, but I'm just going through situations like this in being prepared for the worst, and that would be to have a lot of certifications to be able to offer that to your employer, your job, so you can offer, say, I have these certifications, you can still keep me because I can be certified to work on whatever comes through the door. Now, granted, some of the older guys might have more experience in doing it, but certifications are what people like to see on the doorway when they bring their cars in to have them worked on. And the third thing I wanted to be able to give you guys in the way of advice was to be diversified, both in your job and a lot of your investments. If you have any amount of investments, make sure they are not into one thing. And I would say the same thing for your job. It would be a very smart thing to be more of a jack of all trades in the case that you cannot work on cars for a certain amount of time. If your dealership closes down in like this situation, everyone is laying people off and nobody is hiring anyone. It's a very hard time that if you are somebody who's laid off, especially if you got the really short end of the stick and you aren't just laid off for a couple of weeks, a temporary layoff, you are permanently laid off, then it's going to be really hard to find any kind of a job right now. So having some other kind of a skill set would be a very good thing to have in situations like this. Being able to do, like a couple of guys that I know, you're able to be a tattoo artist, or you're able to work on cars at home. If you have the space or you have the extra tools to be able to do that, being able to work on stuff just as a shade tree mechanic still is able to bring in at least some kind of income for you. Heck, you could even do videos on YouTube. I know a couple of guys who might do that. You could have a handyman service. You could do lawn care business, anything. I'm telling you guys, the sky's the limit on this one. You need to have a diverse skill set to be able to get through certain hard times when one skill set may not be bringing in the bank that you really need to be able to pay your bills, support yourself, and support your family. So definitely look into something along those lines, some other alternative form of income just in case the worst were to happen. Well, I don't really want to drag this out too awful much for you guys. Like I said, I just wanted to be able to give you some kind of information and maybe a couple of tips on getting through the hard times, and to just give you guys the knowledge that there are other guys in the industry who are going through a rough time as well, and I'm here for you. If there's any kind of amount of talking or information, videos that you guys would like to see if you are in this time off, I'm all ears to that one. Last week I did a video, another Nifty Tools video, in which I'm doing a giveaway on some gear wrench sets. For that one, I really wanted to hear from my subscribers, and I tell you what, I have had over 150 emails and messages from my subscribers on Instagram and through email, giving me stories from all over the world. Being able to hear you guys' stories, everything from, just a guy and his son building a car, introducing family members into the automotive trade, building hot rods for the first time. There has been some amazing stories, and I will probably take some of the top stories from the guys who have put them into the channel, and hopefully just have kind of a little bit of a story session. I might get a hold of you guys just to be able to see if I can use those or not, but I'm telling you what, the subscribers and the stories that I have from this alone has been, I don't know, I just want to say it's been eye-opening. It's been something that I am very humbled by, to be able to see this diverse group of guys being able to come together and share some of the stories that they have. It's almost like sitting around a campfire with a whole bunch of guys and being able to share those life stories in which you and your family have enjoyed with each other. And I am absolutely awed and humbled by that, and I really do appreciate that. So we want to be able to help each other out in this hard time. So if anyone is having any kind of a hard time, please feel free to post about it in the comments below, and let's build everyone up. Let's give everybody a little bit of a pat on the back and just talk to each other, be able to get through this, be able to get through these hard times, and in general just be able to keep the conversation going even though we're not really supposed to be around each other. In the end, I know that we are all mechanics, and we all stay strong. Whether you're a dealership tech, an independent guy, a guy working underneath a tree in the backyard, we're all technicians, we're all mechanics, and we all need to hang together in this one. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it today. Like I said, make sure to leave the comments down below if you have those, and lift each other up. We're going to get through this hard time. It's going to be a couple of weeks, and it's going to be maybe even some more rough terrain down the road. But you know what? Like I said, we are able to hang with each other, and we're here to support each other as well. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I appreciate everything that you have done for the channel. We're going to have some awesome stuff coming up here in the near future. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and as always, you guys stay awesome.